Boston Tea Party. The Boston Tea Party was not a chaotic riot, it was a highly disciplined act of political protest. The destruction of property was deliberate, organized, and targeted. The Patriots wanted to destroy only the East India Company's tea, nothing more. Welcome to Historic Crimes TV, where you get the true story of events that have happened in the past which helped shape the history of the world that we are living in. Before we begin, please click the subscribe button below so you will get more true stories from us. Now relax and enjoy. The final day of deadlines, Boston, December 16, 1773. The tension in the city feels like a rope pulled to its final strain. For 20 days, 3 tea ships, Dartmouth, Eleanor, and Beaver have been trapped in Boston Harbor. The law is clear: if the tea is not unloaded, the customs duty must be paid or the tea must be sent back to England. Governor Thomas Hutchinson refuses to let the ships depart. The tax must be paid, he insists. The Patriots see this as a Crown-imposed surrender. Hundreds pour into the Old South Meeting House demanding a resolution. None comes. When the stalemate becomes final, a message spreads like fire through the streets. This meeting can do nothing more to save the country. That sentence is the spark. Dozens of men quietly begin leaving the meeting house. Boots crunching in the snow. Faces grim. Purpose set. The Boston Tea Party is about to begin. The gathering of the disguises, around the edges of Boston, at taverns, workshops, and homes, men are preparing. Some darken their skin with soot. Others tie blankets around their shoulders. Some braid their hair with feathers, copying elements of Mohawk appearance. But the disguises are not mockery, they are protection of identity, a symbol of American unity, an act of psychological intimidation. These are not bandits. They are craftsmen, merchants, apprentices, men with families and reputations. Tonight they will destroy £10,000 worth of British property, but do it with strict discipline. No theft. No ship damage. No assault. Only the tea. The boarding of the ships, night falls, a cold wind blows across Griffin's Wharf. The men move with purpose, separated into 3 teams, each assigned to one of the tea ships. Witnesses describe how they approached, silent, sober, and orderly. They climb aboard the ships without violence. The captains are confronted politely. One of the leaders says, "We are here for the tea and only the tea. You and your crew will not be harmed." The captains step back and the destruction begins. The systematic destruction of the tea, this is the heart of it. Axes rise. Hatchets fall. The first crates splinter open. Split. Crack. Burst. The sounds echo across the harbor. The men work in squads. Each squad performs a specific role. Chest breakers, these men smash open the tea chests, some weighing nearly 400 pounds, breaking them apart with precision so the ships aren't damaged. Bag rippers, inside each chest is a canvas or paper lining. These men tear it apart to free the tightly packed tea leaves. Tea dumpers, these men shovel, drag, sweep, and throw the tea overboard into the black water. Within minutes, the harbor surface is covered in drifting tea, a floating carpet. Harbor enforcers, men in small boats beat the floating tea with oars to sink every scrap. Several jump into the shallow water and stomp on the tea to ensure it cannot be collected later. Their objective is absolute destruction. Total property destroyed are 342 chests equal to nearly 92,000 pounds of tea. A financial catastrophe for the East India Company. The Code of Discipline, although they destroy property worth millions in today's money, the Sons of Liberty enforce strict order. Rules are shouted across the decks: no stealing. No damage except tea. Respect the ships. At one point, a participant tries to pocket some tea for himself. He is instantly seized, beaten, and dragged away as a warning. Another man accidentally breaks a ship's padlock. He panics. The leader assures him, "We will replace it." And they do. After hours of destruction, the Patriots even sweep the decks to leave the ships cleaner than before. Their message is clear: this is not a riot. This is a political act of precision. The departure into the night. By 10 p.m., the harbor water is the color of ink mixed with brown dust. The decks are soaked with tea. Every chest is shattered. Nothing remains but floating scraps of wood drifting on the tide. The men gather their tools. No cheers. No drunken celebration. No boasting. They walk off the ships in small groups, slipping back into Boston's narrow, snow-dusted streets. A few head to nearby taverns. Witnesses say they acted completely normal, drinking ale, playing cards, pretending they had just arrived. Others go straight home to bed. Within minutes, Griffin's Wharf returns to silence, the moon reflecting on a harbor full of ruined tea. Boston sleeps with the knowledge that something irreversible has just happened. The shockwave across Boston. At sunrise the next morning, the wharf is crowded. Merchants, sailors, British customs officers, townspeople, they all stare wide-eyed at the devastation. The surface of the harbor is still littered with soggy tea. The smell of it, earthy and sharp, hangs in the cold air. Rumors explode through Boston: more than 340 chests destroyed. Not a single ship was damaged. No one was harmed. They swept the decks afterward. British officials are horrified. Governor Hutchinson is furious. British loyalists call it vandalism and rebellion. Merchants worry about retaliation. But among the patriots, a quiet pride sweeps the town. They know the action was enormous, but they also know the punishment will be greater. The British fury and the intolerable acts. News reaches London in January 1774. British politicians explode in rage. The East India Company demands repayment. Parliament sees the destruction as an attack on imperial authority. Within months, the British government unleashes a series of brutal laws on Massachusetts called the Coercive Acts, or as the colonists nicknamed them, the Intolerable Acts. Boston Port Act. Boston Harbor is shut down. No ships may enter or leave. The city can't trade, fish, or import supplies. It will remain closed until the destroyed tea is repaid. Boston becomes a starving city. Massachusetts Government Act. The colony's self-government is destroyed. Town meetings are restricted. Royal officials gain full control. Freedom collapses overnight. Administration of Justice Act. Any British official accused of a crime in the colonies can be tried in England. Colonists call it the Murder Act. Quartering Act. British troops can be housed in private homes if necessary. Boston literally becomes a city under occupation. The British want to crush the spirit of rebellion forever. Instead, they ignite something far larger. How the destruction united the colonies. Far from scaring the colonies, British punishment creates a wave of sympathy for Boston. Supply wagons begin arriving from across the colonies, from Connecticut, from Pennsylvania, from Virginia, from the Carolinas, and even from distant Georgia. Food, money, grain, flour, livestock, clothing, they all pour into Boston. Virginia declares a day of fasting and prayer. Merchants in New York and Philadelphia organize relief efforts. News spreads through newspapers, taverns, and churches. Boston suffers for us all. For the first time, the colonies see themselves not as isolated provinces but as a united cause. The destruction of British property has triggered the birth of something new, the American identity. This unity leads to a monumental meeting in September 1774, First Continental Congress. Delegates from 12 colonies gather in Philadelphia to coordinate resistance. Without the destruction of the tea, there would likely be no Congress, and without the Congress, there would be no revolution. The spark of revolution. The British intended to make an example of Boston. But the Tea Party and the harsh punishments that followed do the opposite. Colonists grow more defiant, underground resistance expands, militias begin training, smuggling and secret communication networks increase. The Sons of Liberty become heroes. Sam Adams becomes the face of American defiance. Benjamin Franklin, though embarrassed at first, later calls the act a necessary spark. By April 1775, British troops marched into Lexington and Concord to seize colonial weapons. The first shots of the American Revolution are fired. And in the background of that gunfire is the memory of the night when men dressed in makeshift disguises smashed open 342 chests, dumped 92,000 pounds of tea into a cold December harbor. With absolute discipline, they changed the fate of a continent. What do you think about their actions? Please click the subscribe button so you get more videos. Thank you for watching.